Mr. Wagner's Music Lessons, The Secret of Sound by Kolevska. One day, the legendary composer Richard Wagner decided to teach a music class for children. He arrived with a dramatic sweep of his cape and a twinkle in his eye. The students whispered and giggled as he stood before them with a grand, mysterious smile. Today, he announced, you will learn how music can create worlds, build castles, and bring heroes to life. All the kids were fascinated. Then one curious student raised her hand. How can music build a castle, Mr. Wagner? Ah, young one, I shall show you, Wagner replied with excitement. He sat at the piano, playing a series of notes that grew louder and stronger with each second. Imagine a castle rising on a hill, stone by stone, tall and proud, he said. The music rumbled and echoed as if stones were being stacked higher and higher. The students closed their eyes, and in imaginations, a castle began to appear, just like he described. Then Wagner stopped suddenly, looked around and whispered, "But wait! In every good story, there is danger." The students leaned in, listening as he changed the tune into a low, creeping melody. Imagine a sneaky goblin who wants to steal the castle's treasure, he said. You can hear him tiptoeing, said Wagner. The piano played a quiet, sneaky rhythm, and some students began tiptoeing in their seats, pretending to be goblins. Wagner encouraged them, saying, Yes, yes, feel the music in your movements. Just as the goblin got close to the treasure, Wagner banged on the piano, startling everyone. But wait, he cried. A hero appears, a brave knight who protects the castle. He switched to a bold, majestic tune that sounded strong and confident. Some of the students puffed out their chests, imagining themselves as knights protecting the castle from the goblin thief. A student raised his hand excitedly. Can we add a dragon, Mr. Wagner? A dragon? Why not? Every great story needs a dragon, he agreed. Wagner then played a fierce, fiery melody that sounded like a dragon breathing flames. See, with music, you can imagine anything. Dragons, heroes, goblins. This is why I love to compose operas, stories told entirely through music, said Wagner with a proud voice. Wagner took a deep breath, looked around, and then leaned in close, speaking in a low voice. Would you like to know a secret about my music? The students nodded eagerly. Music has a language of its own, he explained. It can make you feel sad, happy, or even brave. In my operas, I use something called leitmotifs, little tunes for each character or feeling. Every time you hear that tune, you know who's coming. Imagine every time the dragon appears, you hear the same fiery melody, or every time the hero arrives, you hear the bold, brave tune. You can start to feel the story without a single word. The kids were thrilled and started creating their own leitmotifs. One played a high-pitched fairy tune on a xylophone. Another made a deep ogre sound on the drum. They took turns adding characters and playing their leitmotifs, creating a musical story right there in the classroom. Finally, Wagner, full of joy and accomplishment, said, Bravo! You have all become composers today. Remember, music is like magic if you listen closely. It can take you to any place you can imagine. With that, Richard Wagner bowed deeply, and the students burst into applause. They left the classroom that day inspired by the power of music and ready to create their own epic musical adventures. Thanks to Mr. Wagner, they knew that music was just something to hear, but something to feel and experience.
The end.